Lucky fortune time. Tarot time. Time to have fun with I Ching, then tarot. And we'll see what the cards and the coins hold for us today. Should be fun. Let me switch over. And here we are. It's this thing here. And we'll get it visible. All right. Is there going to be a topic? The topic is probably still the heat. There's mega heat, super sun intense. Jojo, good evening. Super intense stuff going on with the sun all over the place. But I did a sort of a sun heat I Ching the other night, actually. So I'm going to do a coffee I Ching. All about different styles of coffee brewing. Cross training. Oh boy. Uh-oh. So that means if you're cross training at a job, that means you're like, training like across with somebody else's skills so that you can back each other up. Sort of like that. That's what I'm thinking. So when someone goes on vacation, you can do their job for them. It's funny. Speaking of cross-training, when I already am in an assessment, forget $11 more at another job. I'm always talking cross-training. I've heard this come up quite a few times in like a corporate environment with software and stuff. And I'm really, really blunt with people now. It's like when you bring up cross training, like, okay, so we need to like get you guys more familiar with what you do so that, you know, you can help support each other. And I'm always like, I always say the same thing. I'm saying, really? So do you think that there's a possibility that that guy over there, when they go on vacation, that I'm going to be able to understand their stuff? Or when I go on vacation, they're going to understand my, not a chance in hell. I'm sorry. If I go on a 3-week vacation, let's just say a 1-week vacation, it would take that person roughly a month to figure out what's going on in my stuff before they could stand a chance in hell of doing anything for anyone. And so I'm finally, you know, after a long time of saying this kind of thing, people began to believe me, and they were like, actually, you're right. It has actually never really worked in the real world. We have never had someone go on vacation and been able to throw what they've done to someone else. What we've always said, basically, just wait till they come back. Or if a crisis happens and somebody leaves, you know, then people have to spend a long time figuring out what they were doing, and then they have to hire someone, or, you know, but it's not as easy as cross training in every job. In some jobs, maybe it is, but I'm always sort of amused when in the corporate world, in software development, they bring up that cross training thing. I'm like, no, it doesn't work. Never has worked. Never will. Well, if you leave a job, you know, hopefully you're getting something better. That's the whole point. Now let's do an I Ching. Let's do an I Ching reading based upon the concept of change, like the I Ching stands for. Change, but with an orientation toward work. The work change, you know, what do we kind of want to look forward to in changing the way we view ourselves, view our career, career change, maybe even more significant than even just a job change. Let's see. Let's just see what's mentioned by our friend the I Ching. And we just rolled a 6, 7, 8. That's what that is. And we roll again. And we have 6, 7, 8 again. And we have 6, 7, 8 again. And we have a 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we get a 9. And one more. We get an 8. That's our reading. Let's see. What is the top trigram? The top 3 lines, and we have a moving line there. But we have the top 3 lines with yin, yang, yang. So a yin, yang, yang gives us, I believe it's the lake. Yin, yang, yang is lake. And then when we have yin, 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 we have I believe it's the earth. So we have lake over earth. Interesting. Okay. Lake over earth is 45. That's the 45th hexagram. But the moving one, if this opens up to a yin, that's a yin yin yang on top, and that gives us the thunder over the earth, which is 16. So it moves into 16. Okay. So let's see what those tell us. First of all, we start with 45 since that's the primary, since that's where we are now. Let's see what 45 brings us. I'm using a different version of the I Ching today. This is the Wu Wei I Ching. The Wu Wei I Ching comes in a nice box and has yarrow stalks. But I'm using the coin. The yarrow stalks take a long time. Okay, 45 is our reading. It's called Gathering Together, Joining. This is a time when you can either join a group or gather others into a group. If you are joining a group, you should have a clear understanding of why you are joining and what you hope to accomplish. The group will have its own goals and reasons for its existence, but you must be clear about your own personal goal or what you want to obtain for yourself by joining. If you are creating a group, you must have a well-defined cause that will draw all the members together and earn their support. To attract followers, you must be enthusiastic about your goal so that you will gain their interest and ignite their own enthusiasm. The goal must be meaningful and worthwhile, or your members will soon drop out. Being the leader of a group requires sincerity, strength, and dedication to the group's well-being. Your motives for creating a group must be ethical, moral, and rooted in an inner desire not just to meet your own needs, but to be of service to the members and to those outside the group. There is some indication that you can gain valuable information about your undertaking by seeking advice from a qualified person before you begin. Once you define your goal and develop clear guidelines for achieving it, you must always move in the direction of your goal. Your followers will rely on you to set an example, so you will have to show them that you are tireless, dedicated, enthusiastic, and loyal. Whether you are joining or creating a group, choose your associates with great care. Universal forces are at work bringing together those who belong together. At this time, universal forces may bring people to you who may not be to your personal liking, but who nonetheless will be of great benefit to you or your group. According to the ancient text, you should remain open-minded when you are either talking with members of a group you are considering joining or talking with potential members of the group you are forming. You need not concern yourself about finding the right people, for they will come. The ancient text also states that you can obtain good fortune by making a great offering. The ancient text urges you to prepare for the unexpected and to take whatever precautions you can to ward off any dangers that might arise. You will be called upon to make sacrifices to obtain your goal. Making sacrifices is appropriate. Success will be yours. Now we have a line in the fifth place. So line in the fifth place means whether you are the leader, by line in the fifth place, I mean moving line in the fifth place there with the little circle on it. That means a yang line turns into a yin line, giving us the different reading that we're going to transition into. But that line means whether you are the leader or a member of the group, you are in a key position to gather the other members together, and many will join you. Others will hesitate. But if you maintain your sincerity, honorable motives, and high ideals, you will eventually win them over, and all will be well. This period calls for perseverance and patience above all. You must show your strength and dedication to the group and to the achievement of its goals, for you will be the central figure around which the group will rally. Now, my own personal thoughts about this. This is an excellent reading for anyone who is even considering streaming. on Twitch, right? If you're going to start a stream or anything with people coming, you should really follow this advice very closely, because this is telling you to do your stream and do it in an ethical, honorable, serious way, and do things that benefit, and never do things for selfish motives. You must provide something that gives people a reason to want to be there. And so that's really solid advice coming out of this I Ching here, that can be applied to anyone making videos or anything. Is, you really have to do something that people will find interesting or useful. Now let's see what the 16th hexagram that this sort of moves into. Let's see what that says. 16. So this hard work of forming the group together, which is the lake over the earth. This hard work forming the group and being dedicated to it and trying to do it with all the right motivations leads us into the 16th hexagram called Yu, which is enthusiasm, revelry, and celebration. This kua takes the meaning from its two trigrams, thunder over earth. Thunder resounding powerfully over the earth symbolizes great enthusiasm, revelry, and celebration. In such times, you will find it easy to enlist helpers and to set them to work. You will do well to create enthusiasm in them, because it will unify them, strengthen their commitment, and fill them with the energy and good spirits needed to reach the great goals. You can generate enthusiasm by setting clear-cut and worthwhile goals that will inspire them. At this time, your efforts have been or will be highly successful. Be confident about the outcome of your plans. During this time of enthusiasm, you may anticipate success in undertaking even difficult goals. After you achieve your success, however, be restrained in your celebration so you do not misuse your energy and stir up resentment or criticism from others. So it's basically saying, do what you do, this whole reading, do what you do, but do it with good intention, with solid effort. Do it with respect and ethical approach, and treat people well and give them something that's actually of benefit for them and even beyond them. And just work hard at it and be dedicated to it. And then it will lead you into a very enthusiastic, you will be able to celebrate your accomplishment, basically. But don't celebrate, wildly and look silly and make an embarrassing spectacle of yourself. But it's basically, giving you good advice really for starting a business, good spirits, commitment, enthusiasm, energy, success, and then you meet difficult goals because of all your hard work. This is very solid advice, and I view it as a very nice sort of it's a nice reading with a good message for getting a stream going. Thank you, Jojo. You have a good one at work. So that's a really good omen, I think, or a good. That's a good prognosticator. I do believe. And then we have these guys here, these cards. These will help us clarify things. So as I shuffle, we will find out more. I really like how enthusiastic and positive that I Ching was. I got to remember that one. That when you're starting out on something, you need to hear things like that. you need that solid sort of if you keep working on this and put right effort in, you will have good results. Aha. Seven of Cups came out. Just as a clarifier to our I Ching reading, Seven of Cups is, that's a lot of sort of celebratory. You're celebratory. You're gaining a better understanding of kind of how you feel about work. What you really feel compelled to do, what you love doing, how you react to the difficulties, how you react to all the efforts of starting a business. This is about the feeling involved and sort of finding the love for what it is you're doing. And the seven has a spiritual and elevating quality where you're going up higher and gaining more understanding of your feelings, because this is cups, this is the heart. You're gaining more understanding of your feelings. You're seeing more clearly how you feel about your work, or the starting of a project or the forming of a group, let's say, like the I Ching was talking about. And your feelings begin to sort of, you want to, it's not only about your feelings, but the seven also implies taking this higher sort of road and trying to use what you have gained and what you have learned and spread it, put it out, put it into application in what you're doing, and put it into action in the world. And it's has a beneficial quality. The seven, you're trying to rise and elevate and improve, and so you want to give and share. It's a very important number, because it's not only about your own awareness of how you are feeling, or more spiritual awareness of what it is to be yourself, and feel more at peace or find joy. It's about bringing those things also outward to some extent, without proselytizing or anything, but you bring it out somehow. You share in a positive sense with people around you, and that's in keeping with what we just read from the I Ching about the group and forming a group, and how you want to give them more than just, what makes you feel good. You want to try and give what makes others feel good, so that they want to be involved. It should be a positive thing and it should be useful, and it should be informative for everyone. And so people will be more interested in finding others that will maybe want to come in and share things also. So that's key, I think, when you're doing something like this anyway. Anyone who's doing this in any tarot stream, who keeps that kind of thing in mind, I think is going to do well. And I try to remind myself to make things that are loaded up with content, information, in other words, or ideas, even though some of the ideas might be muddled and they're works in progress. When you do something like this, they start to form, and then and some of them don't work, but they have to be there. They have to fill the energy of the. They have to fill the time, and so that energy has to be directed toward the primary purpose, which I think is, it's sometimes hard to do, especially with streaming, because sometimes people stream for incredibly long periods of time, especially people doing games. And so, of course, it's hard to make all of that time dense with information. Sometimes you just see somebody playing a game very nonchalantly for a long time and they say nothing. Sometimes somebody will do even a tarot stream and they won't really be saying much that day. They'll just sort of be messing around and, being silly and stuff. Which is fine. But for me, I just want to put as much as I can into the stream so that it stands sort of somewhat alone on its own. In other words, stands on its own legs, and it can. You could watch it later and get information without feeling like, oh my God, I've got to wait 40 minutes while they're talking about the best ice cream in New York City, which might be really useful, but if you're not in New York City, then it's probably not. Anyway, but yeah, the 7 is, I like that number. It's not an easy number to express. It's not the easiest number because of that going higher sort of thing. Yeah, it has that. And I didn't make that up. I just get that from various experience readings I've done, reading about the numbers. And I mean, for me, 7 always sort of reminds me of gambling. But I think it's a good number to get when you're playing with dice, I think. So I think it is. I think, don't you win with a 7 or something? I don't know. But yeah, so that's our card to open the night. 7 of Cups. Higher understanding of our feelings, or more, it's also could be said to be more like accepting. Saying, yeah, I understand where this feeling of mine is coming from better than I used to. I understand now more about why I want to do this or that. I understand more about what's compelling me to do a certain project. That's all included in the 7. Let me open a queue up here just in case. It's always wise to have the queue open because, after all, that's what we want, is for people to come and say, hello, I would like a reading if you don't mind. If it's not too much trouble, I would like a reading. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I just fixed something. Sometimes I actually fix things and don't break them. Wonderful. When I open a queue, I expect a flood of people coming in and questioning me immediately. That last follower from the other day is still up there in the label with her rather juvenile username. Ex-Grinchy, hey you. How are you? The card for the evening. Nightly work. Oh, it's been good. It's been, it's been kind of hot around, it's been hot, and I guess it's hot all over the country. Some people really have it really, really hot. So I guess I'm really lucky, actually. I know in the Middle East they were saying that the heat index, which I guess is what the heat feels like for the body, was at 152 the other day, which is like the limit. It's like the highest you can go for human survivability. And so I'm, of course, thinking, what happens if it goes above that? Hi, Tien Chris. What happens if it goes above that? What happens if it goes to 154? I mean, 152 in the Middle East. But it's a special measurement called heat index. It could mean that the temperature was actually like 120. But because of the conditions of humidity and the way sweat works on your body, the index makes your body behave or feel as if it's 152. And it has to do with how sweat evaporates from the surface of the body, because you can't cool the body unless sweat evaporates. And one of the interesting things about sweat is when you sweat, if the sweat pools and just drips off you, it's not cooling you. Sweat only cools you when it evaporates off the surface of your skin. And for it to evaporate, the air has to be dry enough to cause the evaporation. But if you have intense heat plus really high humidity, then the air is too humid and you won't evaporate your sweat. You'll just drip it. And that's when people die, because the body sweat just drops out, but it doesn't cool the system. And so the body can't cool itself anymore. I know, the wet bulb thing. That's right. It's very similar. It's the same. It's right there in the same topic. The wet bulb thing, the heat index, it's all closely related. Like the wet bulb, I think, is about this sweat thing. So if you're dripping sweat, that's bad. It has to come to the surface, and then it has to just evaporate into the air, and that drawing off the surface like that is apparently what does the cooling. So I really wasn't aware of the mechanics of that until I was reading about it over the last few days. And I was like, wow, what if in some part of the world the temperature gets too high and people can only survive being inside with AC? Then what? What happens? Then, can they fit everybody inside? I guess they would have to, one way or another. They would have to. They'd have to run AC maybe in stadium or something, and like sports arenas, and have people come and stay in the sports arena or something. Because, in some parts of the world, not everybody has AC. They just don't have it. Not, it doesn't, even here, I mean, a lot of us don't have AC units. Yeah, if they don't have AC, what are they going to do? You know? So I could see like some people that, you know, somebody, if someone owns a car, then they could sit in the car for a while, I guess, and run the AC to cool themselves, at least for a few minutes here and there. I guess all that that's not a great solution. You know? Oh, I see. Hold on here. I have my queue. Hey, T and Chris, I'm activating you now in the queue. There you go. You're up, and I'm getting these cards shuffled and ready. So you just pick your topic, your question, and we'll check in with our friend the tarot. General. Areas for personal growth and focus for introspection. Okay. You got it. All right. Our topmost signal to pay attention to coming from this reading, we get yet another 7. It's the 7 of coins reversed. Okay, coins. It's a general reading, areas for personal growth. The reading is centering itself around the hub of practical matters, work, physical things, anything to do with the part of your life that is all the practical things that you need, things you need to do, things you need to earn, anything to do with your house or apartment or car or anything physical, anything with your health or your body, physical relationships, anything that's of a material nature. With the exception of money being immaterial in the sense that you acquire it and use it to get things. So it's material in that sense here. So the coins are, but the 7 is upside down here. And 7 is that sort of getting a higher perspective, getting a greater understanding of what you're doing or feeling more comfortable, gaining more knowledge and putting it to the proper use. Around this sort of physical aspect of life, possibly work. But there is the cards are sort of saying, well, it's kind of hard to work it out right now. So we don't really have a clear picture. We don't have a full understanding. We're not getting a good broad view of what's going on. So there might be some things left to work out. Not very serious, not a serious holdup because it's a number. I always point that out when it's a number card. It's not a big deal. Just saying basically, okay, so look, yeah, things have been a little unclear. That's what the reversal of the 7 means. It means things are a little unclear and things are kind of needing to come down to earth. Instead of sort of worrying about abstractions, instead of worrying about feeling more comfortable, very down-to-earth tasks need to be taken care of. It's not really the time for elevated thoughts or getting, clearer understanding necessarily. Now is the time for doing very particular, simple tasks that are required, basically, that you kind of have to do, as unpleasant as they might be. That's the 7 reversed. Okay. Now, a suggestion over here. Here we have another coins, and the queen is showing up. The queen comes visiting, and she's like, she's like this. She's concentrated on the task. She's able to look at these practical matters. She's able to handle them with completely sort of straight on approach. And there's no wasted effort with her. She tackles these practical problems head on. Okay? There's no dilly-dallying. And that's what the suggestion here is that this, you may not necessarily always think about this or want to face it, but taking that really just sort of straight ahead approach and really buckling down is what this queen can do. She has great authority, a great skill, but also this queen is always representative of growth and nurturing and making the conditions for life better. She's a big life improver. If she has a garden outside the back door, that garden, every time her friends come over, they're always like, oh my God, look at all the colors out there. Oh my God, it looks like they all look so like, everything's growing so much. And that's what the queen is. And so when you see her in this practical realm, and you see advice up here saying, listen, practical matters need to be attended to. Don't get your head in the clouds. Take care of these tasks that might be unpleasant. She's there to be that part of your mind or your personality that says, okay, I've got this, no problem. I'm in full charge here of what's going on. I can just knock this out, boom, 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 in the next week, and apply all the stuff I know I can, and I know I have, all my skills I can bring to bear on taking care of these tasks. And let me just think about being her for a while. Use that incredible capability she has to get the things done. Don't leave them hanging. And then over here, what happens is what we have to sort of look forward to and to keep in mind. 5 swords. Mental. Also solving of conflict. Very intellectual. It's how you solve things. It's how you discuss things. And the 5 is like new idea that comes sort of, whoa, it comes in and you're like, what the heck wait a minute, that can't possibly work. No way, that's not going to work. Or is it? That's what the 5 is like. That's the numerology of the 5. It's like, here's my numerology. That can't work. Wait, say that again? Maybe? Okay. That's what 5 is. And so 5 of swords, quite literally, it's that. Oh, really? No, I can't believe that's going to work. No way. Oh yeah, actually, it sure might. And so that's coming. And what the cards are saying there is keep your eye, look for that ball coming from left field. That idea that will occur to you or come from someone else that you can say, oh, that's a good one. I think I can use that because it'll help. So this working on these tasks, solving practical matters, focusing on practical physical matters for a while, and taking a very, very dedicated approach to them like the queen would, will lead to some new idea. Some new useful thought process will come into the picture for you. And that's where this is pointing you. Good. So if you're going to focus on the practical for a while, then this queen is the perfect, because you know how we get. You know, I do it. I do it with work. I do it all the time. It's that, oh God, you know what? I've been working hard. I worked hard like 2 weeks ago, and I earned being a little lazy. It's okay. So I'm just gonna be a little lazy today because it's my right to be. And the heck with it. I'm just gonna leave these things going. But well, this queen is there to say, well, no. Be that person, be your top of the game person. She wants you to be at the top of your game for a while and go, you know what? Don't leave them hanging. Take your break when you actually are taking a break. And for now, the queen is saying, be your best disciplined, productive self and get these things done. Ex Grinchy, I see ya. I see you in the queue. You know, the word queue, I never remember how to spell it. It's one of the weirdest words in the English language, queue. And Q-U-E-U-E. I don't know. I always think it should just be Q-U-E. So remember that queen card, okay? Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Coins. All right. Ex-Grinch. It's your turn. Wondering perhaps one more towards career. Feeling stuck. Okay. All right. Yeah, you know, it's that whole thing about career and whether it's like, sometimes I even forget what a career is. Like, do you love what you're doing? Do you want to keep doing that? It can be hard, and it changes. It's harder at different times in life. Considered leaving many times. Not a bad job, but sometimes you wonder if it's the right place. Yeah. Yeah, these things, they come up. And it's really hard because, you feel safe in a job. And then you don't want to leave because you're like, well, how do I know what to expect at the other one? It's like, what do they say? It's the devil you know is better than the one you don't, or something like that. Okay, let's see what our first communication is. All right. 5. The 5 of Cups reversed. That, and we're talking about work here. So what that puts us into is the idea of how we're feeling and reacting to our work. What the work is doing to us each day. And the 5 is always sort of that representation of the new feeling, the new element coming in that's sort of a surprise and sometimes makes us uncomfortable, but it's a surprise and it kind of invigorates and excites everything and gets things moving, gets like, whoa, everything's like, oh, we don't know quite where this is going to go. And that when the 5 is reversed, it actually starts becoming the 4 again. It actually starts settling in and stagnating. And so you start to feel like, you start to feel settled in, and you're sort of like, and in your case, if you're wondering if it's the right place for you, it's maybe like, well, I'm gotten kind of used to this. And that's why the 5 is upside down, because you're not getting that exciting feeling of that you're not getting surprised by work. Maybe you're not being, getting an inspired feeling, which makes you love your work more, or at least enjoy it more. It may be missing, or it may be coming every now and then, but in general, you're feeling maybe a little bit, locked in on this one same particular job or way of working you've been doing. And that's why we're seeing the reversal of the 5 there. So it's the 5, and the reason we're seeing the 5 at all, because if it's wanting to be the 4, then why aren't we seeing the 4? Well, the reason is because the tarot is reminding us of that excitement of the new idea, and that's something that is missing, that it wants to remind us it's there, it's been there, we know what that feeling is, but right now we've kind of been missing it and lacking it. And that's why it's here showing itself. And we want that feeling again in our heart. We want that emotion of excitement at work, and not always being completely, oh yeah, I know what to do. Oh yeah, same old thing, same thing again. We want that, oh wait, this is a new problem. This is a new thing I have to solve. We want that, okay? Now here we get the King of Cups, okay? So basically the King of Cups is the guy going, yeah, I want that 5. I want the excitement. I want it because I can do it. I can handle it. I'm good at my stuff. I'm good at my work. I'm a career. I'm a job person, man. This job I can do. I can do like nobody's business. And and look at the king, how confident he is. He's just there he's got his hand on his belt. His thumb is cocked in his belt. He's got his heart on his knee. He's holding it like a toddler, and basically giving the toddler a little cheerful little pep talk before dinner. It's like he's a master of his heart. He knows his heart. He knows his feelings. He knows what he's capable of. He really does know if he needs the 5 and he wants that excitement. He knows that that's something he can follow, that if he wants to make a change, then he can master that. He can do it with total confidence. And so that king there is very good to keep in mind, because he's there waiting for you under the surface. He's a power, basically, that you have. If you want something new and more exciting, that king is going to handle it. But also this king can also figure out how to make the current situation turn into a 5 right side up. He knows that when the time comes, he can find ways to make his job more interesting. He is full of mastery and capability, and he can handle the job as it is now, but he can also handle a transition. He just wants you to know that he's your power that you can rely upon to handle whatever and make a very, very good, solid decision, whether you stay or you change. This king will make the decision. He's in you. It will be a fully developed, productive, healthy decision. Now, coming up, looking forward, look what happens. You move into you move into the 4, but it's the 4 of Wands. So this 5 is sort of becoming a little bored and a little too stable. Well, now what comes up is your creative energy. And what this suggests to me is that your creative energy, your creative skills the skills that are the wands are when you go to work and what drives you to be interested in certain projects, what excites you about work, what makes you want to do the next day at work or the next project, what gets you feeling like, you know what, I actually want to go to work today. That's what the wands energy is. That little spark in you is the wands. And the 4 represents safety, security, solid foundation. In other words, you have a solid foundation and a really good basic creativity in you, and you're able to rely on it and use it. And so it may be suggesting that being right where you are in the circumstance of the 4 that's relatively safe actually may be a good thing. You know, there may be a little boredom here with the upside down 5. Like, where's the new idea? Where's the new idea? But it's not that far away because the 5 is here after all. Where's the new idea? I want to apply this. I want to stay where I am and I want to apply this, passion I have, this excitement. But the key here is that this is all done. It's all sort of balanced by the king, by this energy of the king who is very, very capable and makes wise decisions that are not impulsive. He considers things and he looks for where opportunities are and he finds them, or he makes opportunity, and he does it without upsetting things. He doesn't get people all riled up. He has a lot of respect for people, but people also respect him. He has leadership qualities. That's why the king is here, leadership. So it's possible that if you apply a sense of leadership, have that quality in you, and you turn it toward the issue of being a little bored with where you are now, that your creative instincts could, in fact, find an outlet that will increase your enjoyment of where you are right now. I think that's why we're seeing the 4 here. The 4 tends to indicate against change. It indicates that where you are is actually has a lot of merit, benefit to it. Yeah, but keeping in mind always the king in this scenario and using that quality in yourself at work. Tap that leadership sort of sensibility and see what it does for you. You're welcome. And, this can happen. Here's an example I have from work many, many years ago where I had an idea for something and I wanted to be the leader of that idea. And one of the higher ups, when I said this to them, they said, yeah, that sounds great. So here's how that'll work. You just act like the leader. And I'm going to see that. I want to see that. I want to see you simply act like the leader for some time. And then I'll know that you're really serious about this. And so it made me think about things I was doing in a different way, thinking about them as a leader. And so it influenced the way I communicated with people. It became like, it doesn't mean you get all like snobby. It just means that you sort of try to explain things to people in a positive way, and you kind of you lay out what you want to accomplish, and then you see how people can fit in and work with you on it, and you may write emails, but you say to yourself, well, I'm going to write emails, and then I'm going to write an outline, a summary, and send that summary back to the big person I talked to who said they wanted to see leadership. And I'm going to say, okay, here's a summary for the last few days of what I've been doing. And so you start thinking like a leader in little ways and communicating like one, and it starts to sort of notch the points up for you, and other people notice that. You see, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I say the king here is that's what the king does. You use that part of you. And then things start to get interesting. It's like what they say, a New Age movement, that New Age religion. There's a lot of, oh yeah, absolutely, you're welcome. There are a lot of people, they do seminars and they talk about like visualizing things or manifesting. But really, if you can sometimes think about things in very practical sense. Oh, here's a good one. Here's one, Muhammad Ali. Okay. Muhammad Ali has a really good quote, and I'll probably get the words a little wrong, but he said, if you want to be the greatest at something, just act like you're the greatest. He may have said it if you want to be the greatest at something but you're not yet, just pretend you are. So what he was saying is, as a form of manifesting and visualizing, but it's actually much more understandable to most people because everybody knows what pretending is. So if you simply act like the greatest boxer when you're in the gym, you act like it, then you may become it. That's what Muhammad Ali was saying. If you can act like the greatest, then you will be the greatest. It's a very interesting remark, I thought. Of course, you have to, there's acting like it and then there's acting like it. And so you move from acting like it to being it. Well, it doesn't have to be the greatest this or that. It can simply be if you want to tap the leadership of the king, and find real enjoyment of your work, then you start acting in little ways like the King of Cups. You start doing things at work that represent your enjoyment of your work and taking the leadership qualities of the king and kind of exploring them. But you act each day in a small way, a little bit more and more along the king line, you see? And then eventually somebody walks up to you and says, you're really, really, you're showing a lot of initiative. And really, I think we need to give you some more responsibility. We need to give you a promotion or something. That's kind of what it is all about. Yeah, why not? It's never too late, right? If you stop doing it lately and you used to do it, that means you can do it. So, you can always tap it again. Yeah, king cards like that, they're always good for those things. Oh, I see Virgo is in the queue. Virgo, there you are. You're good to go. You're welcome, ex-Grinch. You still with us? Virgo Senpai. Yeah, I can tell it's a lot warmer around here because my room here where I do this heats up much more quickly. There you are. It's your turn. Let's see. Let's start pulling some cards. Spirit Guide. More spirit-oriented kind of a reading. It gets spiritual in nature. First thing, right at the top, primary calling out. 6 of Swords. Communication. Community. Harmonious exchange of ideas. Thoughts. Kind of enjoying the process. Kind of enjoying the thoughts. Feeling, the spirit guide, the message coming through is suggesting it's time to have a little fun, a little enjoyment. Let the mind rest. Put aside difficulties for a bit. Let the 6 kind of enwrap you. Take pleasure. Do things that invigorate your mind, that refresh it. Share, have fun, talk to people. Play games maybe. Gather. That's all in the 6. Gather and communicate. Share your ideas. Have fun. That's why we're seeing the 6 of Swords. And that's a big primary message. The spirit guide is being, very, maybe the spirit guide is saying, look, we know how difficult things can be, how, tight and wound up the mind can get with little worries. Right now, it's time to sort of say, look, I need to put some things down for a bit. I need to relax a little bit and have a little enjoyment. What are the things I like to think about or work on that give me pleasure? And then here we have another sword coming up, and it's the Queen. Okay, now the Queen is, again, full of leadership. She's full of, she has reason, but she also has an intuitive understanding of things. And so she's able to balance her intuitive thinking with her rational thinking, and she's able to do things, she's able to come to conclusions that sometimes are surprising. She can leap to conclusions because of her intuitive sense is so highly operational that she comes out with decisions maybe more rapidly than people would expect, and they can be rather surprising. And that's something that the spirit guide is saying, look, enjoy. Think about things that you enjoy. And this Queen represents that sense of nurturing and growth in you. The queens always operate to bring the garden to flower. They bring everything to higher health. So the enjoyment of whatever it is you want to think about for a while is enhanced and will enable further growth for you, represented by the Queen part of you, the part of you that you know is fundamentally all about nourishment, benefit. She goes along with the 6 very well because she communicates, she shares, she brings everybody to a better feeling, okay? And so that's, again, the spirit guide is saying, this is in you already. All you have to do is draw upon it, okay? But let the worries sort of slide. Enjoy. Think about things that you like. Try it on a moment-to-moment basis and see what starts to happen. And then over here, something, okay, so here you have the 5 reversed, which means, and it's the swords that, look, you've got a reading that's all swords. So there's something very mental. The spirit guides are focused on your mind, focused on your thinking, and the 5 reversed indicates a calming of disturbance and difficulty in your mind, a calming of pressure. So that's something that the spirit guides are saying, look, this is right on the other side of the door for you. It's just one step through the threshold and you're there. And so the 5 being reversed is basically becoming the 4 of swords, which means a tranquility of mind. And the reason it's showing the 5 at all is because it's saying, if you concentrate on things that are pleasurable to you, the stress of the 5, the discomfort of the 5 will fade away and turn into the 4. In other words, turn into a more comfortable feeling, and you will relax a bit and feel more stabilized in your thinking. And the key to all this, of course, is it's a combination, really. It's the 6 thinking about things that you specifically love to think about, that you love to do. Okay, spend time, meditate on those things. If it's particular books you like, then you read those. If it's a particular conversation you want to have with a special friend that always makes you feel really good, do that. That's what that 6 is all about. And this Queen being a major, major factor, because she is all about how you grow, you expand, and you share, and everybody feels good just being near you. That's what the Queen is. And you access that part of your mind, and it will come out naturally if you just concentrate on things that you really like. That, put your mind to work to make yourself feel good. If you like a certain kind of spiritual book. Open it up and read it. That's what that Six of Swords is telling you. And then a further calming of the mind and a releasing of mental pressures is just right there on the other side of the door for you. Well, so if your mind is everywhere right now, like you're saying, keep that six in mind. Remind yourself, what can I think about right now? What can I put into my mind that I love? Is it reading about a painter? Is it reading about a poet? Whatever it is, the spirit guides are saying, this is where you go. This brings the mind more calm and it gives it a little rest from pressure. It's not always easy to do, but sometimes there are mechanical ways you can make yourself think about things that you like. Very mechanical. You just look at a bookcase and you say, what the books that just pop out of the shelf that I just love to be with. And you just pull it out and you just start reading the first page. Or you say, what kind of movie do I like? And you go on YouTube and you search for that and you say, I'm just going to watch a little bit of this or that. One thing, or you make yourself like a special coffee, or something, and you set yourself up and you make a nice little, for the next 4 hours, I'm just going to think about these things, these books and movies that I love. I know I love them. And you just do that. Right? You can always do, or I'm going to go for a walk. I haven't used my camera in years. I always love taking pictures. I'm just going to go for a walk and just take really bad photographs the whole way because I love taking pictures, and come home and then see what I got. Because I just love doing that. So you just give yourself, that's what this reading is saying. Give your mind a break. Let it have fun. Let the mind toss around fun, enjoyable things for a while. We forget that because we're always muddling over, oh God, I got to do this. I got to do that. How am I going to be able to do this? I don't know. Am I ready for that? Is that going to work out? Oh my God, there's all these details I got to get together. And oh my God, I'm going to be late. We're doing that all the time. And sometimes you have to exercise the brain to do the whole other thing where it's thinking about, God, I really love the first line of that novel. It just goes like this. Wait, let me go and read it again. Oh yeah. It goes, wow, I'm just going to repeat that for a while. You have to give the mind that exercise. Otherwise, it forgets. It forgets to have fun. The mind just starts to be a machine to do all the other things that we have to do. Right? You're welcome. And the mind can forget very easily to just have fun. Like, you know what I do? You know what? My mind starts to get all like wound up. I read the news, like everybody, I'm sure. We read the darn news on our stupid phones. We sit there like we're having breakfast and we read the news and we're like, oh my God. Oh, this is outrageous. And so our minds are like, instead, they're not really having fun when we do that. They're just kind of like cranking around in this reactive sort of thing. And it's hard. It's hard to remind ourselves like, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I want to go and read like Edgar Allan Poe, like a suspense story. We do a hell of a lot of reading these days, but a lot of the reading we're doing doesn't make us feel very good. That's the problem. That's what we forget. And so the Six of Swords, if that card comes up like it did in your reading, that's a really nice little bit of suggestion there. Like reading about the news, except just about business. Yes. Yeah, but you see, even that can get dry. It can get dry. I like reading about business too, even though I'm not like I don't have any kind of like business degree or anything, but it's fun to read about companies and stuff and what they do. But even that can start to get like, can start to feel like work. You know. That's one reason people like gaming so much, really. It's a very, very quick way to turn the brain. Although, so this gets me into a critique of gaming. So many games actually do start to feel like work. They're so full of what they call grinding, right? If you're a gamer, you know what I'm talking about. The grinding to get this or that, to earn certain number of this or that points or, mana or respect. And you're like trying to build your character. And and it can start to feel like work. And so is the brain actually having fun there? Or is the brain actually feeling more or less like it's still at the office? It's a little hard to say. For some people, they might be having fun grinding all day long. But some of them might only have fun for the first hour. Like for me, I know I've played some games and I've done the grinding and I've gotten totally fed up. In fact, there's a new game today, the last few weeks, like Diablo 4. I started playing Diablo 4. And what I've noticed is that, you go through the campaign of the game, the storyline of the game, and there are dungeons around. You have to go into a dungeon, like you go down, you start going through the dungeon, and you have to kill all of these monsters that come at you with your sword or whatever it is, and you're fighting your way through, and it's just sometimes it's really hard to get through. And then you get through all the way to the last major boss of the dungeon, and you have to beat the boss. And it's really obnoxious because I get through the dungeon and I meet the final boss and I start fighting him and I lose and I lose and I lose and I lose and I lose. Okay. And then I get tired and I'm like, I can't beat this boss right now. So I say, well, I'll just come back tomorrow. And I leave the game. I close the game and I come back tomorrow and I come into the game and I can't start in the dungeon at the boss. I have to do the whole dungeon all over again. Because it's resets. The whole dungeon resets. So I have to start at the very beginning of the stupid dungeon and go all the way through the dungeon, killing all those same monsters that I killed the other time, just to get back to fight the damn boss. And then I'll lose again. And I'll get like, oh, you know what? I still can't beat the boss, so I'm going to quit the game. And then, of course, it's like, wait a minute. Why are they doing this to the player? Why are they making the player have to go through the entire dungeon that they've already gone through? Why not just start right outside the door of the boss's room? Or let it be an option for the player. Have a button. Say, but one button says, go back to where I was in this dungeon, or start this dungeon over. I mean, it's really simple software design stuff. But in Diablo 4, they don't do that. You're forced to start all over. And that's one thing I liked about Elden Ring, is when I played Elden Ring, you go through a dungeon and kill everything, and you fight the boss at the end, and you could get stuck on that boss. You can't kill him, and then you leave the game. But when you come back, you could start right near their door. You didn't have to go all the way through again. And that's really good game design. So the Diablo thing, it's so irritating that I'm actually thinking I'm going to uninstall it and stop playing. And I've only been playing it for a week and a half. And I'm like, you know what? This is so irritating to me. And, you know, I know perfectly well that software design, a game, does not have to put the dungeon, does not have to reset the dungeon and put you back at the beginning. There's no possible game logic that will convince me that makes a game better. You know, why not make players who want to fight just the boss, make them happy, and make it a choice? It should just be a choice. So anyway, is the brain having fun when it's dealing with something like that? It's having a very minimal amount of fun because it's so aggravated with that grind, having to do the dungeon all over again. So what I'm saying is, if you're like me, you're having fun to the extent that you know you're playing the game and it looks good, but the actions you're going through repetitively all over again are so annoying that you're actually not having fun. So it's complicated. Well, if you do, a couple of hours, you're just getting started. But when you do a dungeon in there, I'm curious if you'll notice this being really an irritation for you, like it is for me. Because there's really no reason to have to redo a dungeon just to get back to the boss. There's nothing you're going to learn from that. Because it's all the same little groups of monsters. You know, there's nothing enhancing about that. If you feel forced to finish games just to feel like your money's... Yeah, because if you buy them, then you're like, I have to play it. I have to play it. Yeah. That's one thing I will give the designers of Fortnite. Often when I get very angry at that game when I lose, but I get very happy when I win. And I haven't played in about 3 months. But I do notice even when I'm sort of feeling grindy because I play the Battle Royale thing, I'll play it over and over and over again and try to get a win. I get very annoyed, but I'm still having fun. I know I'm having fun. I shift out of being irritated very quickly into like, oh, this is exciting. But they have really designed a game there that somehow manages to almost always be fun. They haven't made a mistake. There's nothing in that game that is dull. Not one thing. You're in constant fear for whether or not you're going to survive. You're constantly finding new inventive ways to get past or things or to attack. Constantly on your toes. It keeps your brain working like this, and there's nothing repetitive about it unless you decide you want to make it repetitive, which I'm fascinated by. It's brilliant design. Even if a person's not into that particular game format, they have to still see what brilliant design this is. I'm not a good builder either, but I have 465 wins. But I'm not a good builder. I use tactics to win. And I don't like playing no build Fortnite. I actually like playing when people are building, even though I'm not a good builder. I only use building for purely defensive purposes, to build a wall or maybe a ramp. I never really build high. I stay low, and I only use the build I don't build forts and and stay in them. I also never use forts to gain elevation on people. So yeah, I'm like a really, really minimal builder, but you can still win. What I am good at is using other people's builds against them. Like I will sneak, I use tactics, and I will, if I'm in the last, if there's only one player left, I call it the end game. I will very often win a match by sneaking into their structure from the bottom. And I will somehow normally use their structure, and I'll move through. If they've left any little openings or something, I'll stay, and then I'll kind of wait for them either to make the mistake of coming down, or I can spring out on them, or I'll see them above and I'll see that they're out on a platform, and I'll go boom, 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 and make them come down. And on their way down, I do that a lot. It's all about tactics, that game. You don't have to build at all to win. It's a total misconception about that game that you need to build. You don't. But you have to use really clever tactics if you're not going to build. And this is why I say it's a brilliant design, because they provide you all of these different ways to play the game, all of which are correct. You built mansions. Yeah. I just can't. It's not really a choice for me to not build them. I just can't. I suck. I'm terrible at them. And so if I try, it puts me in a bad position and I'll lose, So I'm much better off doing other things. So, I won a match once. How in Fortnite there are those little, not the big bushes, but the really little teeny bushes where if you crouch down in them, if they're on a slope, you can get your body just covered by the green of the bush, right? Well, I had this great match once where a guy built this huge structure. And I was hiding behind a tree, and there was this big open field like outside of his structure, all around his structure. He could see like for miles from his structure. And there was this one tree and I was hiding behind it. And when he went to the other side of his structure to look out the other side, I went running across the field and hid in that tiny little bush. So I was just like I was just staring at him from the bush. And this guy came to the edge and his character was looking around. I don't know what weapon he had, but he was looking around and he kept firing at different trees, in the distance. And there was this one little bush in the middle of the field that I was just sort of sitting in. And I just was like, I wonder how long it'll take that guy to see me. And so I just sat there while the storm was slowly closing in and he never saw me. And so then at one point I just said, oh, okay, well, he looks pretty comfortable up there. And so I just went boom, 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 right in front of him. I was right in front of him and I won because he just never imagined in any possible world would I be right in front of him in that little tiny bush. He just completely dismissed it as a possibility. But that one made me laugh. I love winning in those funny, funny way like that. Yeah, I'm like you. I stopped playing like 3 months ago. I can't even remember. You know what? And I had a graphics card that died. And so I had to go through this whole oh my gosh. And I realized, then I was looking for a graphics card. And it's like, why are they so hard to find? What the heck? I couldn't find one for it took me a while. And then I got one that arrived the next day. I think I ordered it through Amazon. But so I had this graphics card that all of a sudden everything just went weird. All these weird dots appeared on my screen. And I think I was in some kind of gaming that week. I was doing Fortnite and some other stuff. And it just literally went zzz. And so I had to get another one fast. And then I just haven't gone back into Fortnite for a while. Doing this too. I've been kind of focused on setting all this stuff up for doing this rather than, because Fortnite, man, if I sit down to play Fortnite, be careful. I will spend 6 hours doing that. I will have popcorn over here. I will have my sparkling water and I will just keep going. That stuff is all fun, but this is, the reading I did for Virgo with that 6 of Swords. This is all, the reason I'm going on and on and on about the gaming is this thing, the brain, we have to develop skill at giving our brains, our minds, our intellects, things to enjoy. It's amazing how as you get older, people can lose. They start to sort of not take that stuff very seriously. Apex Legends will do that to you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I don't play Apex Legends, but I know what it is. Yeah. My thing about games is they're good for the brain, for this enjoyment, but they're also good for your speed. You're keeping yourself adapting quickly to things. Hand-eye coordination. You don't, even though it's happening on a screen, it's the same process. It gets your synapses and your your reactions going rapidly, you know. I think they should have game systems, big game rooms in retirement homes. I think they're good for old people. Keep their brains like firing. You know, I'll tell you what, man. When I'm 95, I'm going to be gaming. I'm going to be gaming because it keeps you really like everything firing. Yep. Really good. If I'm 95 and I'm in a retirement home, I'll be the guy going around setting up gaming systems for everybody. I'll be like Mr. I'll be like Mr. You need an Alienware gaming PC. Yeah, wouldn't it? 95 and gaming? Man, can you imagine? I mean, look at it this way. When you're like when you're really old, like in any kind of like a place for like retiring or whatever, I mean, you can game. You can game without ever feeling guilty about it. And you'd end up being like the coolest, like old person there. You'd be like the gamer. We'll probably have that. I'm telling you, man, we don't even know yet because all these gamers now that are like really intense with PC gaming and stuff, they're not going to stop just because they're 80. They're still going to want to do it. Just like old people watch a lot of TV now. The gamers are going to be doing a lot of gaming. It doesn't matter how old they are. Oh, I think it'll gain popularity because, you'll always have gaming will change. It'll become, it always gets more advanced and it'll adapt and there'll be new ways of doing it and stuff. But yeah, I think it'll be there a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm very much looking forward to the new Baldur's Gate. That's supposed to be an absolutely beyond belief world they've made. You've seen people with disabilities that have very creative setups to still be able to game. Yeah, I think that's one of the best uses. That is just great. Anyone disabled who can have that kind of fun gaming, it almost makes me wonder what people did before gaming existed. I guess they read or something, but it's a really great thing to have. Too many people talk so negatively about gaming. I'm like, what's negative about it? It's good. It's, how can having fun be negative? Can't possibly be. Things that get out of hand, of course. Yeah, but that you could say that about eating oranges, It's a bell. Mylena Marie. Hello and happy Wednesday. Indeed. It's a good Wednesday. It's a Tarot Wednesday. Every Wednesday is a Tarot Wednesday. Ah, yes, ex-Grinch. If your girlfriend likes gaming, then everything is good. Everything is good in the kingdom. Welcome, Mylena. I see it's your first time in. We've been doing readings tonight. If you want a reading, you just do the join thing. And then we got into a little discussion about games because the Six of Swords had come up, and I was talking about how the Six of Swords is a message to lay down the difficult, sort of pressing thoughts that are kind of, irritating, always dealing with like necessary things and problems, and pick up the thoughts for the six that are more sort of enjoyable and give your brain some fun and let it relax for a while and enjoy the good times with other people and stuff like that. And so then that led us into talking about fun with the brain and games. Excellent idea. Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, I like dropping in and seeing what different people have to offer. And everybody has a different take on things, their own style. And then some people I see and then I don't see them again for a long time. Some people just do it every now and then when they can. I try to do it a minimum of 2 days each week that I schedule, and then I throw in others. If you want a reading, you just ask a question or, pick a topic. We've been doing tonight, there have been some generals, like general sort of spirit guide sort of thing. And then there was basically general like career, like should I think about changing? And we had a little variety tonight. There's always like a, variety of interesting questions that come up. That's why I like tarot. You never know what you're going to get from tarot. Even if it's funny about tarot, because even if you know what cards mean and they come up multiple times in different readings, let's say, you still don't know what particular story is going to come up in that moment for that reading. The story always has a different sense to it based on the moment and the question that you're dealing with. And it makes it so it never, it's always, at least for me, it's always interesting. It keeps me like wondering, how's that gonna come through? What's the message gonna be this time that it's giving? Yeah, box of chocolates. Yep, that's right. It's like a box of chocolates. Yeah. tarot chocolates. Oh, I've been working on this. I've been working on a deck. I've been working really hard on this deck. And I just finished yesterday, the little guidebook that I'm putting, like I wrote, those little books that come with tarot decks. And so I wrote my explanation of the major and the minor and the court. And then I did an explanation of a little sample reading. And it comes out to 10 pages. Just nice short little thing. But the point is I got that down. I'm going to go over it and make sure I haven't gotten any of the words wrong, And but that means now that I'm ready to print. That was the last thing I had to do, was get the pages of card meanings done. Oh, I get what you're saying, Mylin. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you don't want to pop in and go, hey, reading, give me a reading right now. I totally get it. Hi, Random K, how are you? First timer, welcome. We're having fun, and I'm about to do a reading for Mylina Marie. So here I'm pulling. So basically, there's our primary message, and then we have on the left and the right, we have signals that are coming through in support of the primary message. This one is more unconscious, sort of something that you may not have been aware of, and this is like a very visible upcoming thing to focus on. Now, okay, Six of Swords. We just had the Six of Swords in the last reading in exactly that position. And of course, don't worry, I shuffled the heck out of the deck. So it's there it is. But the six is that sense of enjoyment. It's the mind, the swords, thought processes. And the six is where you kind of let down the stress and you just enjoy and share. And it's communal also. There's community involved. There's lots of communication back and forth with people. But it's kind of has a celebratory quality to the six. But it's reversed. And that's simply pointing out that, okay, so maybe things have been a little bit on the dry side lately. Maybe the mind has been preoccupied. There have been things that need constant attending to and taken care of. And that's something that's sort of the subject of the reading. Let's try and find a way to get back to the enjoyment of the six right side up. It's hard to see with the Tarot de Marseille deck what's right side up and what's upside down. But that's the idea, is to get the reversed six turned back around so we can have a little bit more fun with the things that we're dealing with, the thoughts we're having, okay? Try to reorient our thinking a little bit, because things may have been a little stressful, may have been a little overwhelming, perhaps, and we're tired of using our brains in a certain way. Okay, now over here we have another reversal, the Nine of Wands. That's your energy to create, to make, to desire, to want. Anything you want to do and accomplish is expressed here by the wand fire energy. It's your instinctive passion, your force of will that compels you toward things that you want to do, you want to make for some reason. You don't even have to know why. You don't know necessarily why you're attracted to a particular person, why you love doing a particular kind of work. You just do. Well, that's what the wands are. And this 9 is always talking about finishing, finding the feeling of completion so that you can say, okay, I'm ready now to close this and move to the next thing. but I first have to put my final effort in order to finish where I'm at right now. And the 9 reversed means that there's a little bit of an imbalance there. So because maybe we have been dealing with things that have been kind of mundane and practical and not necessarily very enjoyable, we are maybe putting our creative passions on the back burner. And so we're not finishing something maybe we intended to do. Maybe we kind of wistfully think about getting back to it. We're just not quite there yet. And that's why this is here. It's just here to remind us that it's there, that maybe we should think about tapping that creative drive that we so enjoy when it's there. Let's look into it again. Over here on the right, we have the Page of Swords. And again, mental energy showing up. And this shows that, okay, this is a more significant card. And it says to you, this is something to keep your eye on coming up. Okay, this is where you sort of want to move to. Page is always trying to learn, is always enthusiastic. Now it's reversed because this recent problem with dealing with things, mental stress perhaps, less enjoyment of what really gets you excited to work on or to do or people to be with, not being there, maybe not getting its full expression. It maybe has been reducing the Page's enthusiasm. And the card's very important because it's here in reversal to show that this is what you want to get hold of again. This is the feeling you want again, that sort of youthful, excited, but not knowing everything yet kind of feeling, the fresh feeling, the feeling of the new, the person who's new to something and knows they have so much to learn, but it's an exciting process. It's a journey through all of this, new skills, new ideas. Everything seems more exciting when you're the Page of Swords. Your mind is awake. And the reason it's reversed is because the reading knows that this has been maybe an issue. This is something to get back to. This energy, the valet, the Page of Swords, doesn't quite know what they're doing, but they don't have to know what they're doing yet. They're enjoying the process of learning it. Just like a child enjoys the process of learning how to ride a bike. That's that energy that this reading is suggesting that you remember and you once again access it in order to make that come out and turn itself right side up into full expression of that enjoyment. So this is a sort of a kick in the a little nudge in the ankle, or a nudge in the ribs saying, hey, let's try to think about things a little differently now. And maybe it's time to not worry so much about the things that have been kind of getting us down and think about gaining or concentrate on something, a task, an activity that brings you that enjoyment, that brings you that Page's youthful feeling of excitement. Just doing that is what these 3 cards are motivating you toward. You've been really trying to meditate and focus on what your next step needs to be and try to listen more to what the universe is needing me to do. Yeah. So meditating is a perfect example of something that the brain enjoys. It just makes the brain feel good when you do it. I mean, assuming you enjoy meditating. And so that all by itself right there could be all you need to say, you know what? I'm just going to be a person who meditates for the next week. I'm going to just do a lot of it. I'm going to think about it all the time. I'm going to look at books about it. I'm just going to sort of drench myself in all of the thoughts about meditation, because just the whole thing, even all the stuff around meditation, makes me feel good. And then you will gain back this enthusiastic part of your persona. Yes, Ren, I agree. You hear readings and they remind you of things you forget. Yes. And you know, it's funny because doing readings reminds me of things that I forget. While I'm talking to someone, while I'm talking to you, doing a reading, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a good reading for me. You know, it works. It works that way. Yeah. Even if meditation is for a small amount for the day. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. And some days, you know, you can do some meditation and it can be astonishing how good it feels. And then other days you're like, oh, I can't quite, but that's okay. They always say, you know, don't worry about those things. Their resistances in meditation are totally normal, and you just accept them. They happen. You get distracted. Your mind goes wandering off, and you find yourself suddenly thinking about the electricity bill. And you're like, oh, I should be meditating. No, I can't. I got to get that out of my mind. And then other days you're like, wow, I actually did manage to clear my mind. I've been here for, I know I cleared my mind. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? Okay, so you're very welcome, Mylena Marie. Ren MK, you are in the tarot room. So Ren, your mind has been chaotic. Okay. Yeah. So that happens so easily with the mind. It really does. And then you realize sometimes you can stop yourself and go, oh, wow. Wow, my mind has been like total chaos for the past 4 days. What in the world? What is going on? Well, do you want to see what the cards sort of say about that? About kind of focusing a bit and calming the mind? Let's see what we get. Calming the mind and focusing. Let's keep that very, very basic thought in mind. The first part, it's sort of like when you lie on a mat and you kind of focus on the feeling around your head, basically, Okay, the very first thing that comes out, the 10 of Cups, that's your heart. That's your emotional life. That's feeling. That's love. That's fullness of heart. So what's happening here is we're talking about calming the mind, focus, and the tarot is offering this suggestion to let the mind go, is to not worry too much about the mind, but put your concentration on feel, on what something feels like to you, how you feel inside, what is the emotion going through you at the moment. If you were sitting in a chair, if you were in a meditative moment, what is the feeling that you are experiencing then? It can be hard to grasp. It can be, very sort of faint, and you can't quite get a focus on it. But that's not the point here. Sure, it can be very wispy and you don't quite know what your feeling is. The tarot is simply saying, put your attention on it. Put your attention on the feeling, on the heart beating inside you. And take the attention out of your head. Let the thoughts seem secondary for a while. What is the moment-to-moment feeling? And you could start physically. You could say, I'm going to focus on the feeling near where my heart is actually located. How is that feel? Listen to the beating, right? And you get out of your head. The thoughts start to drop away, and you put your feeling first. And it's sort of a very meditative approach to what these cards are giving us. So we want to access the heart, and that's the big primary thing that should wash over us. Like maybe if you meditate today or tomorrow, let that be let the feeling in you be all that you are aware of. And then we see this 10. So the passionate wands come up, and it's reversed. So the passionate wands, that's creative energy and drive. That's instinct, attraction, and how we're sort of accomplish something, and we're kind of we did it. Ready to move on. Next thing. Give me the next challenge. Well, we're not, because it's reversed. So in fact, it's saying, don't push. Don't worry about this. Let your passions sit as they are. Don't try to knock the project out of the park right now. We're thinking about feeling. We're going to let our instinct, our passions sort of, we're not ready to finish anything yet. We don't have to be. We sort of like the Hanged Man in the major arcana of the tarot. We're in that moment of, let's let ourselves wait and just experience the present moment, our feeling in the moment, and not worry about getting anywhere or finishing anything or moving to the next cycle. Okay. Now, this is a very subtle influence here because it's on the left side. It's sort of unconscious. That unconscious need to follow your instinct and your passion and finish something. And it's the cards are saying, no. What's important is here. The feeling. And then coming up, okay, the Empress, again reversed. Now, so the Empress is there because she represents the very fertile, nurturing, loving part of you, the part that makes everything come to life. Everything comes bursting out like spring, basically. But she also has like a deep understanding, and she's also got incredible capabilities, and she's got that confidence. Okay, everything grows around her. She's very much in tune with the queens in the tarot. She's all about growth and nurturing and health. And, the idea of taking care of people. And so this is something to pay attention to. This is a force to pay attention to. And it's reversed because it's saying, listen, if things are a bit restricted and a bit mundane and practical lately, it's very hard to get the feel of the Empress. It's very hard to get in touch with that part of yourself. And the tarot is simply guiding us here and suggesting focus on the feeling, focus on the heart muscle, okay? And let it completely envelop you. Don't worry about getting anywhere right now. Trust that your passions and your instincts and your drives are all there. They're all right there ready to pounce and finish whatever it is you need to finish, accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. But you don't have to pressure yourself. You don't have to do that yet. That's why this is this way. And that will, if you're able to do that and access your feeling for a while, that will begin to dawn. And this part of you will begin to emerge and turn itself from this way, where you haven't seen it for a while. You haven't felt it for a while. And the whole point of this reading is that she will emerge and you will see her and feel her again. She comes out when the conditions are right here. And the conditions, if there's a sense of chaos or stress and it's mental, then the idea here of focusing on pure feeling, what you truly love and enjoy, or how you feel in the moment, putting every ounce of attention on that is the central key. And priorities, you have to be careful with priorities because they can get very mental. And this reading is suggesting to give yourself a break from from pondering and constant decision making. It's saying, let the heart kind of glow through you like that warm, when you meditate, sometimes you literally have the idea of the warmth or the like white light, shining through you, and the feeling of the light and the heat and it's that idea with the 10 of Cups, very, very full and ready for something new. But what, of course, is it ready for? If it's the 10, what's it ready for? What's that next cycle? Well, it's right here for you. This is it. The Empress. That feeling of rejuvenation and growth and love and, mastery of yourself. There she is. Yeah. And these things, we say these things and sometimes they sound like, oh, what's that? It's complicated. No, it's not, because meditation isn't complicated. You just put the mat down or the chair or whatever, and you do the meditation and you just say, you know what? How does my heart feel? And you can be literal about it. You can be like, my actual heart. Thank you, Blue Moss. Thank you very much. Your actual heart. You don't even have to think about it as emotions. Just listen to the heartbeat. Just feel the heart beating, right? And then it lets your thoughts sort of, they just don't have room to be there for a while because you're thinking about the beating of the heart. And then you start thinking about, well, how do I actually feel? I actually feel, when I'm not stressing about paying the parking tickets, I think I'm actually kind of happy. What the heck? That's not possible. Or is it? Right? And these things, when you just put the concentration on them, they emerge like magic. And you don't have to really put you can do it for 5 minutes. And then this Empress, when that feeling begins to show itself. I mean, look at the face on her. She's so like calmly assured. Yoga. There you go. Yoga to connect to feeling, but was unsure if it's a good time. Well, this card sure thinks it's a good time. It might be. But how could yoga or something like that, or any form of meditation, how could it ever be not a good time? It's always really a good time. It's just whether or not you're willing to give it just a little bit of time or a lot of time. It's all totally, that's the thing. You don't ever want to hold yourself to some obligation where meditation or anything like this is involved. There's no obligation. That's the thing. It's just there for you to use. That's what I find anyway. It's there for me to use, and I often use it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I somehow magically forgot over the last month actually how enjoyable it is to do this, to meditate, or think about just accessing your feelings, your heart, or thinking about your breath. The very classic form of meditation where you start just the breath in and out. Man, sometimes you can just do that really simple thing, and it's like, it seems like it's really boring because it's just your breathing, but it can really be amazing. Like you're like, whoa. It's because if the thoughts that have been bugging you leave, it's like the pressure has gone out of the bottle, and now everything kind of relaxes basically. And you hope the feelings help you relax. Yeah. Yeah. So that's really the joy of just existing, right? I think ultimately tarot, what else is the tarot for? The tarot's not really there to show you how to get wealthy. The tarot is there to help nudge you toward those little things that make you enjoy just existing. That's really what the tarot is. Which is what meditation is too. All these things really have the same goal. Who watches the watch? Who watches the watchman? You're welcome, Ren. Yeah, you're right, Mylina. We actually all have the tools to show ourselves love, gratitude, and patience. Yes. Ren, thank you. Thank you. I am shuffling away. Who watches the watch? Maybe I should put together a meditation thing. Where like we pick a card or something and try and come up with like a meditation that works with it or something. You still there? Who watches the watch? I'm getting ready. If you want to do, your reading, I think I'm all very well shuffled over here. Sometimes people get busy, of course. I'm doing a reading and then they have to run and do something else. Yeah, ASMR guides to meditation. I actually really like some meditative guides. I've done some in VR. You know, you put the headset on and you go to like a VR a meditation app, and you're like in some scene with like mountains and waterfalls and stuff, and then there's the voice telling you, to follow along and stuff. It can be very relaxing. I like it. Yeah, it is. It's actually one of the nicer uses of a VR headset, actually. Oh, yeah, they have a few apps. Some of them are very, like, there's one that's very sort of nature-based, like nature scenes, forests, mountains, streams, that kind of thing. And then there's like another app I tried that's very abstract, like you're floating in like a void, and there's like very galactic, cosmic shapes sort of drifting past you. And they do this thing with like little sparkly things, and as they tell you to breathe in and breathe out, they come in and out from like where your breathing is. And it feels like you're streaming out all these glowing particles, breathing them in and blowing them out. It was very effective in the app. Felt like they were coming out of my lungs, But most of these meditation apps that do this, they let you do a certain amount of these for free. And then if you want like longer ones or like their full library of meditations, then you pay something. And the other thing about meditation is sometimes I will meditate and I will literally, I will start falling asleep. I mean, what? And then I'll be like, whoa, I can't fall asleep. No, that's not right. I can't fall asleep. I got to stay awake. And I'm like, wait. Okay, now I have to forgive myself. There's nothing wrong with accidentally falling asleep. That happens a lot. I guess, yeah. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with falling asleep. The monks can punish me at the temple for falling asleep. if they want, if they get mad. Meditated earlier before you made dinner and fell asleep for 30 minutes. See what I mean? You see? It's like I start meditating. I've got all these big ideas. I'm like, okay, if I meditate tonight, I'm going to do this. Like, okay, I'm ready. I'm serious now. This is the first time I've ever been totally serious about meditating. And I swear I'm going to access my true self. My inner self is going to emerge tonight. It's going to be a profound experience. I'm ready. Okay. All right. I'll do it. And then I totally forget, like there seems like there's a blank zone in there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm like, wait a minute. That is not enlightenment. I have not achieved enlightenment. I just woke up, damn it. That is not it. That is not what I was going for. And so you know what I'll do? I will try again. I'll lie there and go, okay, this time I'm going to get it. Perfect. Watch. And I'll fall asleep again. I think actually it probably happens to most people that do meditation. It must. It's just, and maybe that's why in Zen Buddhism, I know they almost always recommend that you do not close your eyes. You leave them open and sort of focus like sort of lower down, like toward the floor, but you don't close them. The only problem with that is I will fall asleep anyway. Yeah. They should make meditation apps where the guide, takes you through very gently for a few minutes and then like a big loud noise. A loud noise happens to wake everybody up. I think we lost who watched the watch. Who watched the watch registered for a reading but couldn't stay. I think I have to wake up very early in the morning, so I probably have to wrap it up anyway. I have to wake up really early tomorrow. So I better think about, if you close your eyes, you lose. That's right. A gong. That's right. A gong would be perfect. Because it wouldn't be too obnoxious if it's a good gong. It'll be sort of like bong. And then it would be just enough to wake everybody up. Okay. Folks, I'm getting my, the Five of Swords is popping into my head now. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to wake up early in the morning. So yeah, I'm gonna wake up early and good grief, and then I have to drive. Shoot. Yeah, I gotta rest. But once again, another good evening with tarot folks. Having fun with the cards and reading. It's really, really good. Now all this talking about meditation makes me want to do it. I'm going to, probably what I'll do, I'll go right now. I will go and I'll get ready to like get some rest and I'll try to do it. I'll try to do meditation for like 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to see what happens. Yeah, you're very welcome for the reading. And I'm going to come back. try to come back before Monday. I like to do a weekend stream at some point. So I will do that. I think that should be a good thing. All right, so I'll run now. Everybody, thank you so much for coming by here. It's been a good, really good evening. And I will see you all next time. Fully like enlightened after all of our meditations have gone perfectly. Okay. So everybody have a absolutely perfect tomorrow. Okay. And I'll see you later. Oh, I'll try to, I should raid somebody, right? I'll raid some unsuspecting tarot host. Let's do that. Let's see. We'll raid. Hold on. Who's active? You probably know more about who's active than I am, but let's see. I still don't know people very well. Let's try. Who do we have? Who's doing tarot? Okay. Let's do King Norcalius. Good night, Mylina. I'm going to send you to King Norcalius, who's doing tarot right now. All right. Here we go. Start raid. Oh, we can't raid King Norcalius. Okay, let's try. I don't really know how raiding works. Carlita Chan? Let's try Carlita Chan. Almost ready. And here we go.